Hey! Is the noon train on time?
Supposed to be.
Feels like it's time.
Fair enough.
BBN JACKFROST. What's up, party people? How's everybody doing? I'm hoping everybody's having a beautiful day. We have a lot to actually talk about concerning the Alpo trial. Shaquem Parker, for anybody that don't know, is currently on trial for the murder of Albert Alpo Martinez. As everybody knows, Alpo was a big-time Harlem kingpin, late 80s, early 90s, and he then went on to commit, I'm going to say, because he admitted to these crimes, other crimes in other states, and then he turned witness against the individuals in whom he was committing crimes with, and he was in witness protection. He ends up just leaving his witness protection for whatever his reasons were, and that is the trial that we're currently dealing with in concern with Alpo Martinez being murdered. And yeah, he was a witness that the government was hiding, and he decided, oh, I'm not hiding no more. He came back to the place where people knew him the most. Shout out to Kyra Knowles. Says salute Frost. Before we get into this, I'm giving people a couple of moments to get in here. Before we get into this, I want to say something. What's up with I took a lot of showers? I was playing basketball today. What's up with y'all brothers that keep saying that this man is still alive? Like, I'm assuming y'all guys are just trolling, because you can't believe this at this point. That can't be something that you're just thinking. This guys, it can't be. I'm just saying. Maybe I'm wrong. That being said, shout out to Kyra Knows. She says, salute for all. Salute to you, baby girl. Oh, the salutes. Shout out to Fox. He says, yo, he's throwing up all of the muskers. Ah, sheesh. I wiped the damn lens like before the show started. I had a microfiber. I don't know where it's at. It's blurry? Sure it's not on your end? I'm just saying. Now look at this shit. Look, now I got streaks. You know what? I should just assume that this is just what we was doing. Sometimes you gotta just be like, this is what we doing now. It could be because of the type of fabric I'm using. Yeah, it could be the type of fabric I'm using. You got this whole thing going on. Come on, fam. What we just did. Fam, look at his streaks. This is just too much. You know what? We're gonna go back to just using. I had a microfiber somewhere around here. People are gonna come to the video like, yo, what the hell was going on with Frost over the years? I had a microfiber. Recently got something and it comes with a microfiber jump off. All right, we back to the show. It got to be working at this point. Anyway, we back to the show. I hope that's better. I don't know what to say. With that being said, Alpo Martinez, as we all know, Harlem drug kingpin. Right now, Shaquem Parker is on trial for his murder. This is the 9th day. Today, and I just want to say something, and I want to be clear about this. I don't want there to be no misunderstanding. I am not denoting innocent, nor am I denoting guilt. All I'm doing is telling you about what happened in the courtroom, and the way that you feel about it is the way that you feel about it. I'm not giving any opinion on my own on whether I think that this individual is guilty. nor am I giving any kind of opinion on my own that I think that this person is innocent. I'm just telling you about the facts that's happening in the courtroom, and y'all can talk about that with me or with yourselves if y'all would like. That's it. I gotta say this because something happened today that I think is a really, really, really big deal. And there's only one way that I could think about in order to disseminate the information, and it might not behoove one side of, supporters here. So I want to say something, and I want to be clear about this. This is what happened in court, fam. You could do with it what you want to do with it. So the first thing I want to say is some document, the defense wanted parts of it to be redacted. This is before anybody even come out. There was parts of something that they needed redacted, and there was objection to Danny's IG being used. Remember, I told you that already. There was objections. Wait, hold on, I already told you about everything that happened in the morning, so I'm just going to run through this real quick so we can get caught up. So there was objections about Danny's IG being used, and the photos and Alpo's friend that was around it. They had a problem with the photos. There was 3 photos. They didn't want them to use all 3 of the photos. They didn't want them to use all 3 of the photos. They only wanted them to use 2 of the photos because the 3rd photo had to set another individual in there, and the defense was objecting to that. So that photo got thrown out. Boom, we're not using that photo. Also, there's an exhibit that the one that I'm about to get ready to tell you about, and I want you to know that the defense team had already objected to it. The attorney, Erin Darcy, she's been objecting to this video the whole entire time, and her reasoning actually made sense. So she's objecting to this particular video, or she's objecting to the prosecution having a summation, but also at the same time using this witness in order so they can have like 2 summations. So that was the argument that the defense team had gave. It was a good argument. The judge sat there, he was listening to it for quite a minute, going, remember, innocent until proven guilty. So therefore, the judge is not leaning one way or the other, just making sure that law is followed. There was already an issue earlier about a witness that the defense was never told about. And they didn't find out about him, I believe they're saying, until the trial actually was about to be underway, when it was too late to investigate that witness. So the judge is being probably even in fear than it is necessary in order to make sure that the defense has all of the adequate protections that they deserve, that they deserve, so there's no way that there could be a mistrial, or even more importantly, that a person that isn't guilty gets free and a person that isn't free is guilty. I mean, I'm more concerned with somebody, being innocent and ain't going to jail than I am vice versa, just so we can be clear. I'm way more concerned with innocent people being sent to prison than I am a guilty person being somehow exonerated. That's just the way that I feel. Anyway, in any regard, let's keep it pushing. So she was objecting to the entire exhibit. This is all stuff we talked about earlier. I'm going to skip to after we restarted the session. This is the witness that I didn't tell you about previously this morning. We're just going to say her name is Miss C. There's no reason to say a name. We don't need to know a name. So basically, she said, this is her testimony on the stand, that she was outside partying on the night that this happened. Remember, this is Halloween's 30th going into the 31st, whatever. and she was at a party. Alpo had drove around the block, she says, and came back at least one time. At that point, she and Alpo got into a conversation because he scooped her. He got the number and all that. This is what she said. She says then she was speaking with Alpo, and then she saw the dude run up, and she saw the gun, and she said the guy had a mask on. This was her testimony. Just so we can be clear. The cross-examine on her basically was, they showed some video also of her just like in the video saying that was you, right? And she's like, yeah, that was me. She's like, you know, out there with her costume on, like part of it is like a red cape. She is absolutely having a good time. I have no other way to explain this. She looks like she was on cloud a million. She was enjoying herself. That night was incredible until the BS happened. That's just the way that it looked. I don't know no other way to explain this. In any regard, they showed all of that. And then the cross-examine, when they went to go cross-examine, Aaron Darcy, that's the attorney, went for the cross-examination. She just pointed out that Miss C had to be subpoenaed. She had no choice. She didn't want to testify. She says that she wasn't even going to come if they didn't go and pick her up because she lived in Jersey. So she was like, you know what? If y'all don't come pick me up, I don't know if I'm going to make it. In any regard, so they had to go pick her up because she really didn't want to be there to begin with. Yeah, she didn't want to be there to begin with. She was completely against this. There was a stipulation basically also given after her testimony was over. Also, I just want to add that Detective Dunn never came to her house. It was her mother's house. Not sure why this is a thing, but I guess I found out later at some point. But Detective Dunn hasn't testified yet. So for whatever the reason was, the defense wanted a point to be made that asked her about Detective Dunn coming to her house. She said Detective Dunn didn't come to her house. Detective Dunn went to her mother's house. He also called and texted her. I'm not sure why that's important, but I'm telling you because the defense brought it up. So it's probably important, or they believe it to be. Anyway, there was a stipulation made because this is dude. He was the detective, Eric Meza. He's not with the NYPD anymore. So both sides basically agreed. That's what the stipulation is. Like we both agree that that's a thing that happened. There's no reason to call that person in here to testify on something that we both agree to in all parts. So apparently there was a detective, Eric Meza of the NYPD. And if he was called in, he used to work for the CSU. That's the guys that go pick up, you know, the evidence or whatever to collect it, to go analyze it. So apparently, if he were to testify, he would have testified that he executed a search warrant on the defense. And that's Exhibit D for the defense, a search warrant. And that information is part of the defense Exhibit D and the prosecution's Exhibit 9. So this is, whatever that is part of two different exhibits. They're not showing all of the exhibits. I mean, of course not, because they're trying to get the trial going. But like, there's a lot of exhibits that they don't show, but they have to like put it in. It's not like when we were doing the other trials, is what I'm saying. And every time something was exhibited or was an exhibit, one or both sides would just be like, nah, we got to show this. It just seems like a lot of these exhibits, and I don't know if they're doing this for time purposes, maybe they're doing it for the purpose of time, which makes sense. But we're not seeing a lot of the exhibits like generally would happen. But at the same time, this is a case that is moving along really well. So, you know, if the prosecution nor the defense said, hey, this is something that we should show the jury right here, then, you know, well, how can I report on it? And then also, what is the real importance of it? Right? Is the jury really going to sit back there and ask for every single piece of evidence that wasn't shown? Yeah, we want to see them all. Put them on the table. Bang. Like, I don't think that's happening. Because then also context. Remember, when you're out there and you're doing your, you know, your lawyer thing, and you're questioning a person on whatever the specific piece of evidence is, that is your moment to burn whatever the thing is that you want to be into the brain of the jury, into the jury. So if they don't see the evidence with the context, and then now they're just in the back and there's just some evidence that, you know, it came out day 2, you know, we didn't really look at it. Now it's time to, you know, deliberate. Now we got to go all the way back to day 2 because I didn't see that thing, and it's probably important. So anyway, just something I was thinking. So let's get to it. Now I want to say something, and I want to be clear. I don't want there to be no misunderstanding. I am not saying I'm just going to tell you what happened. Okay. This is the right guy. No. And this is only 2 seconds. What did he say? Something. He was just talking about canvassing. Jean Black or Jean Bach or some shit like that. It was nothing. It was nothing impertinent. But this next guy, Ryan Strick, pardon me. This next guy, Ryan Strick, they had to have a whole hearing to determine what he was going to be allowed to testify about. So the jury is wherever the hell the jury at. They ain't in the courtroom at this time. That's all that's important to this story. And so they bring Ryan Strick up. You know, swear man. And then they basically ask him, you know, questions, the prosecution, so the judge could get an understanding of what he's going to be testifying on. Basically, this is the guy, because remember the defense, they want to have a whole entire video not allowed in. The video that dude took, when he took the videos of all of the cameras throughout New York City in that area, chopped it up, and then made a before and after, allegedly, of the defendant leaving his home, walking to the crime scene, committing the crime, allegedly, and then everything that he did on the way back home until he got back home. I want to say something real quick. How many years has it been since I've been telling y'all that them cameras on the street, that niggas is playing wrong? It's not like back in the 80s. It's not like back in the 90s. This is a whole different era. Y'all got to get away from that energy. Because if they want you, they're going to get you. Now, I'm not saying that this particular individual is guilty of this crime. What I am saying is that this guy's job is to take all of the images from all of the cameras in the area. They subpoena them. It's subpoenaed. There's nothing that these people, they can't say no. And this one guy's job is to study every last second and put together a timeline of what you did that day. That's bananas. This shit exists. Stop committing crimes. Mike all the way over here. Had the mic all the way over there. Why ain't nobody tell me I couldn't hear me? Why nobody tell me I couldn't hear me? Am I on the right microphone? I gotta be. I'm just gonna tell you about the video. I'm not going over all of this. It's a lot. Now I'm just gonna tell you about the video. You come to your own conclusion. The video that the defense was trying not to have allowed in, it was so hard. They were trying so hard to prevent the video from being allowed, just so we could be clear. The building that he lived in had cameras on every floor. So they literally got a shot of the dude walking out of his home. You know, turning around and locking the door. Now every floor got a camera. So as he walked down the stairs, he's on camera. All the way until he gets to the outside of the building, all the way that he walk off of the block. So there is no question about whether at one point or another they had an idea of who the target was. That's not what the defense is saying. The defense is saying my client was in all black, which he was wearing. How do you not know on some of those shots that's all the way down the block that you see whoever that black figure is walking? How do you know that's always our client? I just wanted y'all to understand what the defense's argument is. It's a good argument. I was looking at the video. The video was looking scruffy. Some of it. Some of the stuff I'm like, this guy's good. Oh, he's bullshit artist. So they basically have a video of the guy walking all the way around the Bronx neighborhood. And then they put up a map and they show an arrow. I'm guessing he jumped on the train or something. I'm guessing. That's what I'm guessing. They show an arrow of him. Now he's in Harlem. Now he's on the cameras. Every single block he walked, he was on camera. So that's what the defense is saying. How do you know this was him the whole time? And he was with his brother. They're saying the other person was Danny Parker because it was two of them. Danny Parker, although I believe he had on blue jeans with a black top, while Shaquem Parker did have on black. I don't know if they were sweats or jeans, to be honest with you. They could have been sweats. and a black top. So I just think that that's devastating for the defense. I think that they brought up the best argument that was possible. How do you know that was our client every time? Sometimes when we're doing this and we're talking about cases, and you'll hear me say, well, they're doing the best with what they got. And that's not me saying that the person is guilty, just so we can be clear. That's just me saying, it looks pretty bad, but they're doing better than it looks like they're doing. I think this is one of those times. One of Shaquem Parker's supporters stormed out of the courtroom. One of Shaquem Parker's supporters stormed out of the courtroom. It wasn't a big thing, but it was big enough that everybody turned around and stopped. And the judge even sent the bailiff around to go look to make sure, like that, the lead, like not the bailiff, but the lead supervisor, court officer out there, the sergeant out there to go look and make sure everything was okay. The state is saying that they tracked him from his home to the spot, and then they have the video of him re-entering his home later because they tracked him all the way with all of the cameras back home. That is what the state says they have. I think the defense team is doing the best with what they have in this particular situation. All you could do is say that what they were saying, the defense, it was like, because they had timestamps that were incorrect. So, they hit that home. The defense also, like I said before, how do you know this is the same individual? So the sneakers that were white and black, and pardon me, was black and white, black with like white soles, and the other sneakers from his brother was black and yellow. So they had everything dark, but they were running around with sneakers that were distinctive. And that is what the individuals are saying that they saw them on the camera is saying. That we know it's this person and we know it's that person because what they were wearing, even though they all had black on, they had other, attire that was distinctive. So that's what they're saying. I don't know. It's whatever y'all think is going on. My fault about having low energy. I was playing basketball today. I am a little fatigued. Also got great news. I don't even want to mention it, but got great news. I don't want to mention it though. Great news. Should we mention it? I don't know. Nah, I'm gonna keep it to myself. But definitely great news. Absolutely great news. And one of those great news is, real quick, I just want to say this, that allows for me to be able to help other people. Like, so it's great news. It allows for me to be able to help other people. It's just we gotta see which are the people that's gonna pull up to be a part of the thing that we're gonna do. So I'm not gonna talk about it. I'm gonna wait for more things to happen, and then y'all find out about it. Y'all know about it when y'all know about it. With that being said, it's dope though. Anyway, go playing basketball today. I'm a little fatigued. So I'm not sure if this is the last witness. I believe it is. I mean, this is obvious. Honestly speaking, I don't see no reasons why this wouldn't be the last witness for the prosecution. This is what the actual argument that the defense was saying, is that the things that they're going to say is like they're going to do two summations, and that's not fair. The judge was also concerned with that. Also, just so we could be clear, the judge didn't think that that would be fair neither. But I will say this: I remember hearing some of the people having conversations that I grew up around when I was a child. And you know what was always dope? Obviously, was the stories where they went out and they did some kind of bull crap and then somehow prevailed. That was always dope. But you know what always stuck in my head that was dope? They'll tell the story about something. Wait, here we go. They'll tell a story, and during this story, it'll have a lesson. Every story had a lesson, just so we could be clear, but it'll have a lesson. And one of the lessons that what I would say generally, stands out. One of the lessons, fuckily. Told you I had one though. I shouldn't have touched it. See, I touched it. Sheesh. Anyway, one of the lessons that stand out that Alpo put himself in a situation for something to happen. Let's just be clear about that. There were a lot of people that generally were saying that they thought. Let me hold on. I want to wipe the camera and then turn the damn thing off, but about me doing any of that. Yeah, I don't know. There we go. That's good enough. So sometimes you don't do something. Like sometimes you just don't do it. You just don't do it. Like I want to say something, but if I say a thing, it's gonna denote an opinion. So I'm trying to figure out how I can say the thing I want to say without putting an opinion on one side or the other. So that's the issue I'm having currently. But I do want to say this, and I don't want there to be no misunderstanding. The government is basically saying that they have video of this man walking out of his home, literally a camera pointing at his door, going somewhere, doing a crime, and they can film him damn near minute by minute from one place to another. You see, some of the cameras, they lose them for a little while. He's not in front of the camera the whole time. They have to check all of the cameras in all of the area. And there's times that he's not on camera. And they're like, how did you find him again? And then they're like, well, we look at all of the people in the surrounding area, and there's like a ton of other cameras, and there's cameras that they didn't even show us, but they have. Remember, he just took the shots that best mapped out his idea of what happened. Somebody else would have took those same camera angles or same videos, and if they would have mapped out, even if they came to the same conclusions he came to, they could have possibly used different video. It was just designed by his choice, his personal preference. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. I don't think I'm going to be able to say the thing without denoting of one way or the other. But they say that they have him on camera. This is what the individual Ryan Strick was saying today. They have him on camera, leaving his home, committing the crime, and then hanging out for a couple of hours before jumping in an Uber and coming back home. And they're showing it in court. Bananas. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know how to feel about that. Now, I say this as a point so you can understand, not as any kind of disrespect. The gentleman in question, Shamik Parker, I think they said he's like 5'6" or shorter. And from the eye test, it looked like he weighed about 80 pounds. And I'm not even exaggerating. Maybe, you know what? Let's give him 95. I don't know if he hit triple digits. Maybe he did. I mean, I don't know. I'm not saying that to be disrespectful. I'm saying this is the guy that's on trial right now. A very, very slight young man. For murder. In any regard. Any questions at all pertaining to this particular trial? That was interesting. Also, Shamik Parker has had a lot of support in the courtroom. He's been getting a lot of support, his family, and he's in the sharp suit every day, not for nothing. So I don't know, did they go out and buy him the clothes after the fact, or if he just, knew how to dress. But he's coming to court every day with a nice suit and tie. Every day. Just, if anybody else was curious about that. Every day. He's coming to court, appropriate. In any regard, I am so exhausted. I know you can see it on me. I'm gonna let y'all go. We haven't been doing tonight shows. I need to start doing more tonight shows. I actually was writing an article. I'm not even gonna show you. Anyway, I was just writing an article, and then I was like, why don't I do a tonight show also? I wasn't even gonna do it, but I was writing an article, and so I'm like, why don't I? Why don't I do a show instead? All right, it's wrong. In any regard, newspapers back. I'm gonna start posting to it more daily. That's all I can tell you. I'm gonna start posting to it more daily. We're gonna cover more topics than the topics we've been covering in the recent past, in the recent, history, in the last couple of days. We gotta branch out, talk about more things. Other than this in politics. I just be so pissed at the damn Democrats half of the time. I mean, I'd be mad at the Republicans too. Don't get it confused, but I'd be so pissed at the Democrats. With that being said, I'm gonna let y'all go. Everybody have a blessed day. Appreciate everybody that showed up. Appreciate everybody that hit the like button. I have no idea if anybody hit the like button. I'm not looking at that screen currently. I just clicked onto the screen. Shout out to we got like, that's a good number of likes in comparison with how many people have been in the room. So salute to everybody that's been hitting the like button. Everybody just out. Hope everybody's having a good night tonight. I'm out. I'm out.